everyone, welcome back to Studioloo. It's Cindy. So welcome to Dephemberember. It's December 1st today, and I'm so excited to be taking part in this open collaboration hosted by Barbara at 49 Dragonflies and Louisa Heinzel at Junk Journal Art. So I will have all of their information linked down below, and you can go to their channels and you can find out where to download these prompts and the daily animal freebie cards that will be part of the kind of the challenge of these prompts. So anyways, let's jump into it. I'm pretty sure I don't need to give you a lot of preamble because you've probably heard all about Dephemberember. So today the prompts are fluff, which I have a lot of in this fiber art studio, and mason jar. So I'm getting started a little later today than I'd hoped to, but yeah, it's been a long day. So the animal is this little hedgehog. So I'm just going to jump into getting started. My initial thoughts on this were like, I have this this jar stamp, and I thought I would stamp and do something, but then I had a totally different idea because I wanted to try. I mean, it's always my objective to try to do something a little bit different than what I see, you know, Louisa and Barbara doing, but sometimes I'm just going to be so inspired by what they've done that I'll want to try it myself. So you may see me just do another version of it. However, when I heard mason jar, I started to think about these lids and how they frustrate me so, because you know, the rest of the whole mason jar can be reused, but this part can't. And I also imagine that these things are kind of hard to recycle because of this little rubbery ring here. So I often worry and wonder about what happens to all of my my seals that can't be used again. You can sometimes use them again, but don't tell any good canner that, because they will be very upset with me for saying that. Anyhow, so what I wanted to do was something kind of different. So I was thinking about all of this fluff. You know, my whole studio is full of wool and other fluffs. So I grabbed some of my hand spun yarns, a couple of different yarns here that are in brownish tones. I thought it would be accessible that everybody would probably have yarn. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. And then if you are into spinning, you will have different kinds of fluff and fiber. So I've chosen to grab a bit of this flax roving that I just kind of went into my stash, and it was the first thing that I came across. So I'm going to pull a little bit of this fluff off, and isn't this fun? So my idea here is actually quite simple. What I want to do is create like a little bit of, you know, a clustery type thing, right? Something that would embellish your page. So I thought I would get started by just using some Fabri-Tac, or 3-in-1 in this case. And what I want to do is on the back of this, I think I will cover this side in Fabri-Tac, actually, the convex side rather than the concave side. So the side that has the actual rubberization of the lid that would go down on your jar. So I'm going to cover that just with some paper, and this is just some old you know, it's an old book page, not a big deal. On the back of it, I'm actually going to double it up, so I'm just going to feel right where I am here, and I'm going to put another layer of glue just to double up the paper thickness. Doesn't need to be super gluey. Okay, give that a little bit of a rub, and the reason I'm doubling it up is to just kind of try to even it out a little bit. Okay, so then I'm going to tear around a little bit and leave just a bit around the edge. Okay. And hedgehogs, I love hedgehogs. I actually used to have a pet hedgehog, and his name was Henry, and I had him when I was in high school, and he was the sweetest little hedgehog. I loved him. They're an interesting pet to have, though. They require a bit of patience because they can, you know, get spooked, and then they pop out all their little They're little spiky spines, so you got to be careful when you handle them because loud noises can bother them and things like that. So you just have to be a little mindful that they're little creatures. They're not the kind of pet I would own nowadays, but in this case, I got it in a weird situation, like all animals find me. There was a mall that I used to frequent as a kid, and they were going out of like the pet store. This was at the time a lot of pet stores were actually quite not that great, and it was closing down, and he was the last little pet, and the guy who worked there was someone that I knew, and he said, hey, can you do you want a hedgehog? Do you want to help us out? Like, we don't have anywhere to take this hedgehog, and they were closing down. So yep, that's how the hedgehog found me, and Henry was lovely. I litter trained him. He was the sweetest little thing. Okay, so I think that's quite secure. Okay, and it will be a nice surface we can glue down, and it feels quite flat now. I don't feel the dip from the lid. So now we have this little canvas that we can do whatever we want with. And so what I was thinking is I need to get my embossing powder. I want to give this a bit of a nice clear emboss. So just give me 2 seconds. Okay, so I am back with embossing ink and some clear embossing powder from Ranger. So I'm just going to start by doing a little fussy cut of this sweet little hedgehog. And I'm going to just try to go a little close to his spines, but not too close, because just like in real life, they can be difficult. And a little tail. They have the softest bellies. It's kind of like the secret best part of the hedgehog is its little soft belly. They're very friendly, sweet little animals though. Mine had a he was really cute. He used to give me little tiny licks, little kisses, so he's very sweet. Okay, so now I'm just going to emboss this little one. Making sure I get every last bit of him, including the tip of his nose here. Okay. There we go. That looks like it's covered. And then we'll just put down a bit of clear embossing powder. Okay. Put the lid on this and minimize my mess a bit. Okay, and then I will pick this up. I don't have my tweezers. I put them somewhere. I just need a little hand to pick that up. Okay, so let's just set this aside for 1 second, and we'll pour all this embossing powder back in here, or as much as we can anyways. I always manage to get like some amount of it, especially if it's glittery, where I don't want it to be, but that actually was quite easy. Okay. Lid on, we're safe again. So let's get this ink brush out of the way. Oops, it really wants to be here. Okay, so we'll pop our little hedgie up here and just grab my heat gun here and just emboss this real quick. Everywhere. Don't see any granular bits. I think we're good. Let me just double check the head here on the top. There we go. Okay, so that is going to get a little curly, but that's fine. It will even out when I go to use it. So now let's head on over to our lid again. And I think what I want to do is just again using Fabri-Tac, go right on over the top here, the edge of the lid. And then I'll just do kind of a few circles around here. Okay. I will get my this little paddle thing that I use for dealing with glue. It's a little bit mucky right now because I've been not keeping it clean. And then I'll just take my fluff. So for this, you could use, you know, wool, roving, cotton, you know, whatever you have laying around. You could honestly use weird things like horsehair, so the unsung hero dryer lint, believe it or not. You could use cat hair. I know that sounds a little bit kooky, but there's actually a book called Crafting with Cat Hair. So do whatever you want. It's your life. Right? Okay, so then I'll go around again, just sort of around the edge now, because I want to incorporate some yarn, but I just needed a bit of a nice floofy base here to add on. So let's grab some of this more bulky yarn to just give myself a bit of a start. Okay. I've probably got more yarn than I will need. You don't need very much yarn for this. Okay. Then I'm going to go one more row on the inside. So I'm just going to nestle the glue right up next to the wool here. And after you do this, definitely wipe off your glue bottle because you'll need to. Because little fibers like to stick to glue, right? So, all right. Other things that you could use here would be like silk flowers or leaves. Those would be a lot of fun. Bits of applique would also be fun. I'm just going to grab a little bit of my glue book here and just get rid of this goop. All right, so now I'm just going to take a piece of scrap paper. I'm just going to give this a little press down, just to make sure that all this glue is kind of pushed down and incorporated. This needs a little bit of drying time because Fabri-Tac does take a minute or two, but I can move on. It's not serious. Okay, so now we just want to figure out what else, how do we want to make this look as cute as we can here on this surface. So I think I need just a couple of things, little pops of green or something. We could use some thread from my art, which is a term for a big jar of threads and strings that you keep hanging about. And I'm going to grab some colors that I think would look good. Because, you know, he's built this little nest, right? So we want him to have this cozy little nest. Put some more green in here. A little bit of yellow. A little bit of different yellows and such. Okay. Just got to get rid of that little pop of red. Okay. And here's some nice yellow too. Okay. All right, all these threads. Sorry if you hear a little bit of snorting around. It's my chihuahua under my desk looking for trouble. Okay, so now we'll just take a little of all these things, and I just like to kind of do a little cut through of the bundle so you get a little bit of everything, and then just mix it up a bit, and then we'll just add a little more Fabri-Tac to where we want to put this. I think I want to put it sort of over in this little spot here. Let's make a little pile of glue and then plunk it down. Just give it a press or two. There we go. So now we can put our little hedgehog right in his nest here. And I think that would be sweet. Let me see. Sorry for that. I just want to grab, I'm just going to use some like silk flower leaves to just add a little bit of a dimension, and also to give a color block behind his head so that it stands out more. So this will go back here. I'll just fold all three of these together. Press it down, make sure that we like the position of everything. And we do. So then I will just glue him down. Okay. Just give this all just a little stamping down here. I just like to kind of hold both my hands for a moment right on top, just to kind of give it like just a nice firm press and the warmth of your hand, and it brings everything together. Okay, so let's put these threads away. Let's take a look at what we have. So this is so cute, right? It's a little hedgehog's nest, and we have in here a recycled mason jar lid. So that's a little bit of a different take on things. This could be really great for a journal topper. This one's a little thick, but you know, you don't have to make it as thick. I've chosen to use a bulkier yarn that would, you know, add a little girth. I like to make kind of girthy ephemera anyhow, but yeah, I'm really happy with this little one. So that is my day one for fluff, mason jar, and this little hedgehog. I don't know if every day I will end up using the animal that has been given to us from the prompt list, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see where the inspiration takes me. So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a video, and I hope you will come back and check out what else I'm going to be doing each day for Dephemberember. My plan is to work on this every day. So I hope you have a lovely Dephemberember, and as I mentioned before, please check the links below to check out Barbara and Louisa at 49 Dragonflies and Louisa Heinzel. Take care, everyone. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.